Emily Martinez was 8 years old when she first heard the word that would define her family: genetic. Her grandmother had died at 52, unable to breathe under her own weight. Her mother spent most evenings in a recliner, gasping. Emily's pediatrician explained obesity hypoventilation syndrome ran in their blood, a cruel inheritance where the body attacks itself, pound by pound. At 23, Emily underwent bariatric surgery. She followed every rule: protein shakes, small portions, therapy sessions. For 3 months it worked. Then her body rebelled. 1 pound returned, then another. Every single month, like clockwork, her weight climbed despite eating less than 200 calories daily. Her endocrinologist ran tests: thyroid, cortisol, insulin resistance. Nothing explained it. Her body simply refused to cooperate. By 35, Emily weighed 487 pounds. She couldn't walk from her bedroom to the bathroom without stopping twice to catch her breath. The oxygen concentrator arrived on a Tuesday afternoon in March. Emily watched the delivery man struggle to carry it up the apartment stairs, and she understood this machine would become her companion until the end. Her pulmonologist, Dr. Chen, didn't sugarcoat it during the video call. Your CO2 levels are critically high. Your lungs can't expel carbon dioxide efficiently anymore. Emily, without intervention, you have 8 to 14 months. He paused, then added quietly, "I'm sorry. You're too high risk for any surgical intervention right now. Your heart couldn't handle anesthesia." Her sister Maria broke down in the hallway afterward, thinking Emily couldn't hear. But she could, every word. The medical bills piled up, $2,847 for one ER visit when she stopped breathing in her sleep, $6,200 monthly for medications, oxygen supplies, and remote monitoring equipment. Her disability payments covered barely half. Her savings account showed $1,247.83, down from $43,000 3 years prior. Emily started keeping a notebook by her bed. In it, she wrote goodbye letters to her niece Sophia, age 6, who still drew pictures of Aunt Emmy standing and playing. Emily couldn't tell her the truth, that Aunt Emmy would probably never stand again. 47 a.m. Emily's phone screen was the only light. She'd been awake for 5 hours, monitoring her oxygen saturation, 87%, 89%, 84%. Anything below 88% meant danger. The rain hammered against the window while her concentrator hummed its rhythmic pulse. Hiss, click, hiss, click, hiss, click. Her mind spiraled through calculations. Funeral costs, cheapest cremation, $1,895, life insurance, denied due to pre-existing conditions, whether Maria could afford to take time off work for the arrangements. She scrolled through old photos. Her college graduation, weighing 195 pounds, smiling in her blue gown. Her 30th birthday at the beach, already 340 pounds but still mobile, still laughing. Now she couldn't even roll over without planning the movement carefully. At 4:23 a.m., her oxygen alarm blared, 82%. Her chest tightened. She fumbled for her phone to call 911, vision tunneling. The paramedics arrived 17 minutes later, the same crew as 2 weeks ago. The younger one, Marcus, recognized her immediately. "Emily, hey, stay with me." He adjusted her oxygen flow while his partner checked vitals. They didn't take her to the hospital this time. Her levels stabilized at 91%. Marcus sat on the edge of her bed and said something she'd never forget. "You're fighting hard. I can see it. Don't stop." After they left, Emily cried for the first time in months. Not from fear, but from a strange ember of defiance that Marcus had accidentally ignited. The laptop was a refurbished Dell her sister had bought her last Christmas. Emily opened it at 2:13 p.m. on a Thursday, determined to find something, anything, to occupy her mind beyond waiting to die. She started searching. How to make money from bed. Work from home bedridden. Passive income severe disability. Most results were scams or required physical labor she couldn't perform. Then she stumbled into a Reddit forum. are plus size. Hundreds of people sharing daily frustrations. One post stopped her cold. Why doesn't any medical clothing come in sizes above 3X? I'm on oxygen, and the nasal cannula tubing gets tangled in my regular clothes. I feel like a hospital patient 24/7. Emily looked down at herself. Oversized men's t-shirt, elastic waist pants from a medical supply store that looked exactly like what they were, medical supply store pants. The fabric was rough, institutional blue, with no pockets. Her oxygen tubing was taped to her shirt with medical tape that left sticky residue and pulled at her skin. She'd spent 18 years working in fashion retail before becoming bedridden. She understood clothing construction, fabric weights, pattern making. Her mind started working. What if someone made stylish adaptive clothing specifically for plus-size people with medical equipment? She opened a new document and titled it Free Soul Fitwear, Initial Concept. For the first time in 11 months, Emily worked on something that wasn't about dying. Emily spent 3 days researching every adaptive clothing company online. Most catered to elderly populations or wheelchair users with standard sizing. None addressed the intersection of plus-size bodies, medical equipment, and youth, middle-age aesthetics. She made a list of specific problems she personally faced. Nasal cannula tubing that caught on collars and zippers, no discrete openings for monitoring equipment. Pulse ox sensors, EKG leads, IV ports. Fabrics that trapped heat and moisture, worsening skin issues, no pockets large enough for phones, inhalers, or emergency medication designs that screamed medical patient rather than person with style. Her first sketch was crude, a soft cotton tunic with hidden tubing channels along the shoulders, magnetic closures instead of buttons, and deep pockets positioned for bedbound access. She drew it on the back of a medical bill. She texted her former retail colleague, James, who'd moved into textile sourcing. Hypothetically, what fabric would be breathable, moisture-wicking, durable, and come in prints for plus sizes 3X to 8X? James replied 3 hours later with a link to a bamboo cotton blend manufacturer in North Carolina, and the message, "You cooking up something?" Emily smiled, and typed back, "Maybe." Emily's oxygen alarm went off at 11:17 p.m. She'd been so engrossed in creating a basic website on Wix that she'd forgotten to check her levels. 86%. She adjusted her cannula, took slow breaths, and went back to work. She couldn't afford a professional designer, so she taught herself using YouTube tutorials, pausing frequently to rest. Her logo was simple. A bird breaking free from a cage, wings made of fabric swatches. On April 3rd, she posted in 6 different online communities. "I'm creating stylish adaptive clothing for plus-size people with medical needs. What features would change your life?" The responses flooded in, 78 comments in the first day. People shared photos of themselves, explained their struggles, offered suggestions. One message came from Sarah Chen, a hospice nurse in Portland. "My patients deserve dignity and comfort. I've been looking for something like this for 7 years. I'm a size 4X myself with POTS syndrome. If you need someone to test prototypes and give medical-grade feedback, I'm in. No charge, I just want this to exist." Emily video called Sarah the next day. Sarah appeared on screen in scrubs, her own medical ID bracelet visible, smiling warmly. "I've worked with dying patients for 12 years. I can tell you're terrified, but you're also brilliant. Let's build this together." Sarah became employee number 1, officially hired, though unpaid initially, as product development consultant and medical advisor. Within 2 weeks, they had 5 prototype designs. Sarah tested them during her shifts, solicited feedback from patients and colleagues, documented every detail. Tubing channel too tight on prototype 2 caused skin irritation. Prototype 4 pockets perfect depth but need reinforced stitching. Phone fell through twice. Emily's mother noticed the change first. "Mija, you're sitting up more. You're different." Emily didn't tell her yet about the business. She was too afraid of failing. The first order came on May 18th at 6:42 a.m. Emily was half asleep when her phone dinged. Free Soul Fitwear. New order. Tasker Juicer 1. $68 de run. She refreshed the page 4 times to make sure it was real. A woman named Patricia from Ohio had ordered the Serenity tunic in 5X lavender print. Emily's hands shook as she processed the order through her bedroom workspace. She had $847 in her business account. The tunic cost $31 to produce and ship. Profit, $37. She started crying and couldn't stop for 20 minutes. By the end of May, 12 orders. June, 47 orders. July, 183 orders. But growth brought chaos. Emily's health crashed twice, once requiring a 3-day hospitalization for a severe respiratory infection. She ran the business from her hospital bed, communicating with Sarah via text, approving fabric orders between breathing treatments. The real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A customer named Diane posted a photo review on Instagram wearing Free Soul's Liberation Lounge set, with visible CPAP tubing, smiling genuinely. The post went viral in chronic illness communities. 14,000 shares in 48 hours. Orders jumped to 67 in a single day. Emily's website crashed. She spent $220 she didn't have to upgrade hosting. Sarah flew to visit Emily in August, taking a week's vacation. She sat beside Emily's bed, and together they planned scaling strategies on a whiteboard. "You need capital," Sarah said bluntly. "You're fulfilling orders one at a time. We need bulk manufacturing." Emily had been avoiding this reality. Investors meant pitches, video calls, appearing on camera while bedridden with oxygen tubes. It meant vulnerability. "I look like I'm dying," Emily whispered. "You look like someone fighting," Sarah countered. "That's your story. That's why this matters." They recorded a 7-minute pitch video. Emily was honest, showed her oxygen equipment, explained her condition, demonstrated the clothing's features, shared customer testimonials, and presented financials showing 340% month-over-month growth despite zero paid marketing. She sent it to 43 small business investors and angel investor groups. 39 never responded. 3 said no politely. One, a woman named Margaret Okonkwo, who'd built a 40 Matters adaptive equipment company after her daughter's car accident, said yes. Margaret offered $10,000 for 8% equity with an option for additional funding based on performance. The call lasted 93 minutes. Margaret asked tough questions but ultimately said, "I invest in grit. You have it in abundance." The money hit Emily's account on September 2nd. She immediately ordered bulk inventory, hired 2 part-time seamstresses remotely, and upgraded to proper e-commerce software. Her September medical checkup showed something unexpected. Her CO2 levels had stabilized, not improved dramatically, but stopped declining. Dr. Chen reviewed her charts twice. "Your mental state affects your breathing patterns significantly. You seem hopeful. That's clinically meaningful." He paused, then added, "If you can maintain this stability for 3 more months and lose 30 to 40 pounds, we could potentially revisit surgical options. Not a promise, but a possibility." Emily called Sarah immediately after the appointment and sobbed, this time from hope, not despair. By December, Free Soul Fitwear had processed 2,147 orders totaling $312,000 in revenue. After costs, Emily had netted $89,000 profit and employed 14 people remotely. Seamstresses, a part-time graphic designer, 2 customer service representatives, a bookkeeper, and Sarah as full-time chief product officer earning $45,000 annually. An article in Adaptive Fashion weekly profiled Emily, the CEO who built an empire from her bed. It featured a photo Sarah had taken, Emily surrounded by fabric samples, laptop open, oxygen cannula visible but styled with one of her own designs. She looked professional, purposeful, alive. The article went viral. Orders surged. A boutique distributor in Canada wanted to carry the line. A hospital system in Texas requested bulk orders for their bariatric patient program. Margaret called on January 9th. I'm increasing my investment to $50,000 for an additional 7% equity. Emily, you've built something legitimately valuable. Current trajectory puts you at $1.2 million revenue this year, $3.5 million next year if you execute well. Emily had gained something more valuable than money, a reason to fight. Her weight had dropped to 441 pounds, 46 pounds lost through reduced stress eating, better sleep from purposeful exhaustion, and working with a remote nutritionist she could finally afford. On February 14th, Dr. Chen delivered news during a video checkup. Your CO2 levels are in the acceptable range for surgical intervention. Your cardiac function has improved enough that I'm comfortable clearing you for a staged bariatric revision procedure. We'll do this carefully. But Emily, you've earned this chance. The first surgery happened on March 22nd. Emily hadn't been in an operating room since her failed bariatric surgery 12 years prior. Maria held her hand in pre-op. Sarah flew in from Portland and waited in the hospital for the entire 6-hour procedure. The surgery succeeded. Recovery was brutal. 3 weeks of liquid diet, pain, nausea, and doubt. But on April 18th, physical therapist Ramon helped Emily stand for the first time in 19 months. Her legs shook violently. She lasted 11 seconds before needing to sit. She cried through all 11 seconds. By May, she could walk 30 feet with a walker. By June, 200 feet unassisted. By July, she walked to her mailbox, something she hadn't done since 2022. On August 1st, Emily attended her first in-person business meeting at a co-working space. She wore a Free Soul Empowerment blazer in forest green, size 4X, with discreet medical equipment channels she no longer needed but kept anyway as a reminder. Margaret was there, along with Sarah and the leadership team they'd built. They discussed opening a small warehouse, expanding the product line, and potential partnership with a major adaptive clothing retailer. As Emily stood to present the Q3 strategy, she paused and looked around the room, at faces of people she'd hired, at the business she'd built from a bed she thought would be her deathbed, at Sarah who'd believed in a dying woman's dream. 18 months ago, a paramedic told me not to stop fighting, Emily said. I didn't. This company exists because I refuse to let my body's failure become my mind's prison. Every person wearing Free Soul right now is wearing proof that your circumstances don't define your capacity. We started in darkness. We rose anyway. The company hit $3.2 million in revenue by December 2024. Emily weighed 287 pounds, still plus size, still managing OHS, but mobile, healthy, and alive. She keeps that original sketch, drawn on the back of a medical bill, framed in her office with a caption, "The idea that saved my life." Message: when the world tells you you're finished, your mind can write a different ending. Success isn't about perfect health or ideal circumstances. It's about refusing to surrender to despair. Emily didn't wait for her body to heal to start building. She built her way back to healing. Your darkest moment can be the foundation of your greatest triumph, but only if you choose to build.